Welcome, FanWarriorNation. It's Monday, May 21st. We've got a 9-game slate tonight. I just wanted to give a quick run through of each game. It's 3:30 right now, so we don't have too many changing conditions to worry about. It's a Monday in MLB, a lot of traveling. New series are starting, and there won't be any umpires released until first pitch, so we don't really have to worry about any pivots for umpires. The weather is fairly clear tonight, so we got good conditions to play ball in. Most of the lineups are already released, so we've got a pretty good handle on the slate this early. So not too much speculation here. I'm just going to run through each game, hopefully about a minute for each. So San Diego in Washington, lefty versus lefty. A lot of people are going to be on Gio tonight, pivoting from Greinke against the Brewers. I don't think it's one of the best plays, especially at 11.9K. This Padres club has a lot of right-handed power, even though it hasn't really shown itself yet. Franmil Reyes, a guy that just caught up with just light tower power. Pereira hasn't really found his power stroke yet, but the potential's there. Villanueva is heating up again, man. He's got his stroke back, so he's a dangerous guy to throw to right now. Caesar, is actually pretty good salary right here in the leadoff spot. Might be worth a consideration. Now, even this team, you could look at them and say that that's a nice little cheap stack, and it would give you some leverage, but unfortunately, since there's no other great arms to use tonight, you don't really need that cheap of a stack, so I wouldn't use them more than a couple one-offs or pairs maybe. Now, this Nationals club should have some of the heaviest ownership tonight. Rendon is one of the best plays against Erlin. He destroys lefties. He's only 3.8K, hitting third. The rest of this club, however, Severino is a nice punt play at catcher, 2.5K, hitting fifth. Trey Turner, though, is a guy with reverse splits, so he's been worse against lefties for his entire career. Bryce Harper is sandwiched in between Giancarlo and Judge and Price, so that may affect his ownership a little bit, but it's just tough to justify using him in this spot. So I would stick to Rendon as a one-off. Maybe Severino. Soto's 2.9, but lefty on lefty, and he's a 20-year-old kid. I would be careful there. Braves at Phillies. We got all these Braves, most of them are priced over 4K. So Suzuki 3.2, Camargo and Dansby a little cheaper, but you're gonna have to pay a premium for these Braves, and it's justified. Of course, they've been crushing the ball lately. Acuna's still only 4.1K. It's still a discount in my opinion. Pavetta's a guy that throws a lot of fastballs. Albies, Freeman, Suzuki, they all crush the pitch. It's not a good matchup for Pavetta, I'll put it that way. I'm not sure if I'm going to stack the Braves. Although you could argue you could stack the Braves every single day, especially the last few weeks when they've had two series against the Marlins. But overall, I just don't know if I want to pay up across the board for these Braves, but definitely Freddie has to be considered against a bad righty, or a righty that throws a lot of fastballs at least. Okay, we got Herrera is probably the best play here. So I'd say Odubel is the best play. Hoskins is a guy with reverse splits, though, some power against righties, but I probably wouldn't consider stacking this Phillies team against Fulte. His velocity is up right now, like 2 miles an hour. He's throwing 98, 99. Herrera just destroys righties. Fulte has always struggled against lefties. Hernandez doesn't really have a lot of power upside, so I don't know if I'd go there. Honestly, I think Herrera, Odubel is going to be my one-off here. You could argue that Santana is a pretty good play, but he's 4.3K. I probably would just stick to Odubel, right? And I will use some Fulte in tournaments. Okay. Marlins and Mets, we got Vargas is throwing against right-handed heavy Marlins team. This is a bad spot for Vargas, actually. Now, everyone targets the Marlins, but You got Castro hits lefties well, not for a lot of power, but Anderson here is a better hitter against lefties, regular power splits. So Maben, probably wouldn't use it much. Maben, he doesn't get on base enough to run, but Rojas is an interesting guy right here. Okay, Rojas hit 2 bombs last night or yesterday, and it's got better power against lefties. And honestly, at 2.9K, I don't mind playing Rojas at all against Vargas. Brinson, another guy that's interesting, hit a grand slam yesterday. He has struggled mightily this year, and his numbers against lefties this year are pretty pedestrian. But if you look at his history, so Brinson, when he came up with the Brewers last year, he crushed lefties, right? He struggled against righties, and he crushed lefties. Now, if you look at the beginning this year, he had a series at Miller Park. I think he took Wade Miley deep twice in one game. So he's got that power stroke against lefties. I think he's a good play here. I wish he wasn't hitting in front of the pitcher, but even though his left-handed numbers versus lefties look down this year, historically he's a lefty masher. So Brinson's worth a consideration. So if you wanted to do a stack, I'd go Real Muto, maybe Castro, Anderson, Rojas, Brinson, those 5 righties. I don't think I'm going to use a lot of that stack tonight, but it is interesting. Prado, just not worth consideration, even though he's 2.7K. He just doesn't have any power anymore. But, if you want a leadoff guy at 2.7, I understand. Now, the other side is interesting, too. Nemo's pretty cheap here. Conforto's under 4K. Adrian's at 3.6K. I wouldn't mind a little mini stack here with some of these Mets. Hernandez is a guy we can target. He throws a low 90s sinker cutter, and he's got about, let's see, I would probably stick to four lefties here. I'd go Nemo, Conforto, Gonzalez, Bruce or Cabrera, and then I would complete the stack. So instead of doing the 1 through 5, I would complete the stack with Mesoraco right here. Okay, because he's a reverse splits guy, and he's got a lot of power against righties. At 3.3K, a lot of power upside there. So I would complete it with the catcher right here. Okay, Arizona in Milwaukee. Greinke threw against his team a couple weeks ago, and pitched well, but I think he's in danger tonight. So let's look at this Brewers lineup. Yelich, Shaw, Aguilar, right? So Yelich and Shaw being my top 2 plays against Greinke. Greinke's velocity is down right now. Jesus Aguilar is destroying baseballs, right? 4 home runs in his last 3 games. Domingo also has reverse splits, more power against righties. So, honestly, this is not a team I want to target. It doesn't make any sense to pay 12.1K for Greinke against this dangerous Brewers team. I do like using Chase Anderson on the mound at only 6.3K, right? So even with Lamb back, this is a team you can target righties against. They strike out over 26% of the time against righties. Go ahead and use Chase Anderson and maybe even consider him in cash, but definitely in tournament format. Okay, maybe I would play Lamb and Goldschmidt against him, but Owings has stolen base upside. Honestly, I don't like using this Diamondbacks team much, but you could argue that it's not a bad stack if you think that the field's going to use a lot of Chase Anderson, but I like his salary, and I think he's going to have a pretty good upside tonight. He might give up a Lamb or a Goldie bomb, but especially in Miller Park, maybe one of each. But I'm thinking he can go at least 5 or 6, strike out 5 or 6, and give up less than 3. So he's not gonna dominate tonight, but I think he's gonna have a quality start. All right, we're looking at the Yankees in Texas with Big Sexy on the mound, man. If there's a game that's gonna be tilting to say the least, it's just, what do you do with this? What do you do with this game? Do you stack the Yankees? Do you pay for them against Bartolo? I guess, historically, I think Judge and Stanton and Sanchez have all hit him hard. I think Gardner has too. Gardner at least is a guy that's not going to strike out against him. But I mean, if Judge and these guys can avoid the Ks, I mean, Bartolo usually pitches to contact, but he also, I mean, he can fool guys too if he wants to. It's just, what's Bartolo's game plan going to be tonight? Now, obviously, he's not going to have, more than 3 or 4 or 5 Ks probably, but it just depends. Depends how he attacks this Yankees team and how much soft contact he can induce. So, stack the Yankees if you want. I mean, I don't think anyone should not target Bartolo. Like, they just don't like targeting him. But you got to pick and choose your spots. Now, it's going to be 80 degrees. The wind's not going to be a big help. Now, sometimes there's swirling wind in Arlington, and that can change and shift during the game. But overall, man, this is just a game I'm considering fading completely just to get some leverage. And I'll use Sanchez only, right? So I'll pay up at catcher, get that best bat behind the plate, and then just hope that Stanton and Judge get pitched around a little bit, right? Bartolo hopefully has a smart outing, if not a good one. Now, the only weather concern. Okay, real quick. No, I'm not really using many Rangers. Tanaka's not a bad option on the mound, but overall, I think Tanaka might have some big K upside here, but without looking at the umpire and let's look at his first strike percentage. Let's check it out, or strike ratio. Actually, if we can get that, it's still the same. Velocity's down, distance is up, hard hit's the same, exit velocity's up. Tanaka just concerns me, man. I just think there's better options tonight. The potential for a great game is there, but he's still tournament only, in my opinion. If you're going to use somebody against him, use Shin-Soo Choo, man, right there. I haven't looked at their batter versus pitcher or anything, but just crushes righties. So, and I know Tanaka can be tough on lefties, but still, Shin-Soo is a beast, man. I mean, the guy just hits, so use him. Okay, maybe Choo and Gallo as your random pairing. Okay, this is the game with the only weather concern. A lot of people are going to be on these Orioles. They got a pretty low run projection here at only 4.5 runs, and they're not even the favorite, but which doesn't make any sense to me. But just because Cashner has been pretty bad, but actually has been a little tougher this year with his swing and miss stuff. But a lot of people are going to target this game, I think. Not as much as the Yankees, obviously, or probably the Twins and Nationals, but it'll be up there. And I just don't know if I like the play against Hector Santiago. He's got deceptive stuff. I mean, he's a fly baller. He only throws fastball or sinkers and changeups, but he doesn't have a lot of hard contact allowed. Especially, I mean, let's see if we can. Yeah, look, hard hit percentage the last 15 days, 16%. That's probably just the one start, probably, but yeah, basically. But I just don't know if I like targeting him here. Maybe I'll use Machado as a one-off, but at 5.6K, I don't like paying that much for my shortstop. I mean, just lock in Rojas, man. I mean, 5.6K just because he's a fly baller. I don't see it, man. There's a lot of righties in this lineup. I get it, but let everybody else stack the Orioles. Just pick your 2 or 3 favorites and just stick with that, dude. I mean, there's just too much downside to this stack. Jones is a reverse splits guy. Valencia strikes out a lot, but I mean 3.5K. Trumbo, high K. I mean, I just don't see the matchup, honestly. He's a fly baller, but he's not. There's not a lot of hard contact against him right now. And his home run to fly ball is pretty high right now, so you could argue that could come down even. Palka's in the 4-hole here against Cashner. That's an interesting play. Moncada, pretty good play at second base there, leading off. I would just stick to a few of these White Sox, man. This is a game, man, honestly, unless the weather turns and people get off this game, I don't even think I'd consider using a lot of these guys. I actually thought these run totals would be a little higher, probably around 5 each, but if they were around 5, I'd consider going with the under there. But you never know. It could be a shit show as well. So, okay, let's look at this Twins-Tigers matchup. We got Berrios and Blaine Hardy. I think a lot of people are going to be targeting Hardy here. But the distance is down, the hard hit's down, exit velocity's down, strike ratio same. But he doesn't throw much up there. Let's see. 8 hits against the Mariners. 1 home run, 2 earned runs. I don't know if that's the best target either. Dozier's a little discounted because he hadn't been performing well. Kepler's hitting in the 2-0, but he's got lefty on lefty here, which his ISO is okay. But overall, I'd say my favorite play would be Escobar as a one-off. I wouldn't use him over Rendon, but if you want to use Escobar at shortstop and Rendon at third base and fade Machado, I think that's a good play. Overall, I'm not going to use any of these Tigers against Berrios. Now Nico's in the 5-hole. Victor at least has been hitting a little bit lately, but maybe use Castellanos because, I thought he was a little closer in his splits, but it's a tough play for either side here. Okay, let's just move on and consider using Berrios and Escobar. If you want to use both those guys, especially in cash, go for it. Okay, let's go with Miles Mikolas versus Ian Kennedy. Mikolas, a ground baller. This Royals team, not a lot of pop except for the middle of the order here. And Witt's hitting down in the 5-hole. Let's check out Dozier's ISOs. Yeah, so nothing for righties yet. Alex Gordon, has he stopped hitting? Let's see. Yeah, he's back to earth. So look at that. Yeah, 6 Ks in those 2 games. So Alex Gordon again. You can consider targeting this Royals team, and I'm okay with playing Mikolas. It's just not a huge strikeout guy. Hard hits up a little bit, exit velocity's up a little bit. So strike ratio is down. So StatCast data is a little concerning here for Mikolas. I probably would tend to avoid a guy with bad StatCast data and low strikeout upside. So even though it's against the Royals, I think I'm going to be off Mikolas tonight. Maybe you could use him in cash, but there's just better options out there. Speaking of that better option, let's talk about Walker Buehler right here. So against the Rockies, velocity looks a little down, but that's not concerning. That's just strike ratio 72%, distance a little up, hard hit a little up, exit velocity up. But let's see. I'm not really sure who was hitting him hard. I know the Marlins did tag him a little bit, but maybe it was just some of those. Maybe that home run he gave up there. But it looks like they're the only ones that have been getting the ball up. So, yeah, I mean, that's the only home run he's allowed. Struck out 7 in every last 3 starts. So, and those are the only starts that he was allowed to go 6 innings. So, yeah. So if he's throwing 6, he's probably striking out 8. Not necessarily, but he does have that consistent stuff. So, until his salary exceeds $10K, I mean, I'm using Buehler. It just doesn't make sense to not use him right here in this spot in LA. This Rockies team is vulnerable, so yeah, I would be fine with using Buehler. Probably pair him with Anderson in tournaments is what I'm considering. Maybe some Tanaka, maybe some Mikolas, but Barrios. So I'll probably use my main lineup: Anderson, Buehler, having a lineup with maybe Fulte, Buehler, Buehler, Barrios. Probably would still stay away from Mikolas. Actually, yeah, I wouldn't go that route. Probably Buehler, Tanaka, though. I probably will take a shot there. That would be more large field GPP only. Even though he might not be the lowest owned, I think he's a good play in a large GPP because he could be the highest scoring pitcher tonight. So that's basically what I'm thinking, guys, for this slate. If we want to take a look at lineup construction right here, let's just do a run through real quick for you guys, and let's just say we're gonna lock in Buehler. You could go Fulte, definitely, but I'm gonna save some salary, go with some Anderson here. Let's not fade Gary. Let's get a little exposure to the Yankees. Okay, first base. I definitely think Freddie's the best play. You could consider Adrian or Jesus, but let's just go ahead and lock in Freddie. He's a guy that I don't want to stay away from. At second base, I like going with you know what, guys? There's just not that many great options here. So, let's just go ahead and plug in. Although Caesar is tempting with the discount, Moncada's tempting as well. Okay, so, I'm kind of torn between Ozzy and Moncada right now with the discount. Let's plug in Moncada and see if we might have some salary left over for Ozzy, but at this point, I don't think we will. I definitely think we should lock in Rendon at third base right now, and then at shortstop, I like using Escobar, man. It makes a lot of sense to go Rendon Escobar because I think that combination will be a little low owned with Escobar having multi-position eligibility. Now we're at average player remaining. 4,200, pretty decent. You can consider Odubel or Hoskins. I think we should lock in Odubel right here. Acuna, lock him in. And that leaves us 39. Okay, Conforto, boom. And this is a lineup that I would consider for single entry GPPs. I guess, I could use it in cash, but I don't play much cash, and I think you could probably find a better SP2 than Anderson in cash, but still, it's definitely something you should consider. Also, you can always pay down at catcher. Let's go with Real Muto or maybe Mesoraco. Let's go Mesoraco since we got some Conforto in there. Severino's an option as well, but I think we'll be able to still afford the Ozman. So let's see. Yeah, so then go Ozzy here. Okay, guys, so that's just basically first glance, quick lock-in. This video is a little longer than I wanted it to be, but about 25 minutes. But, just ask your questions in Slack. I'll leave a link to anyone that's not subscribed in the video down below, and you can get a free week to FanWarriorNation. I'll still have my article posted And good luck tonight, guys.